We have just witnessed one of the biggest moments in altcoin history, and barely anyone's talking about it right now because there's so much trauma and bullshit going on in the market. Well, the US government has literally been shut down. Wall Street just plugged itself directly into the altcoin market, including Solana's yield engine. This isn't about just another ETF listing. This is the moment that institutional money got its first taste of real nice crypto yield. That's right. The first wave of spot altcoin ETFs are finally here after having basically a monopoly of Bitcoin and Ethereum for a very, very long time. And those ETF products are already seeing inflows of millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars from day one, which is absolutely insane. Now, there's a lot to unpack here, so let's run through which altcoins, as of recording this video, now have spot altcoin ETFs, what the inflows look like so far, and what this means for where the broader crypto market could go next, as we probably see an absolute flood of altcoin ETFs coming to the market. Now, the US Bitcoin ETFs brought in over $36 billion in their first year. Bitcoin's a unique beast. Those are crazy numbers, one of the most successful ETF launches in history. Then Ethereum followed, pulling in another $8 billion. But the door for altcoins has just opened up. On October 28th, Bitwise launched its Solana staking ETF on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker BSOL. BSOL. It's the first ever fully regulated US ETF with direct exposure to Solana, and it plans to stake every single token, providing very robust dividends back to holders. It doesn't just track Solana's price, it's going to earn 7% in annual staking yields. That's huge. Those are big numbers. A lot of dividend stocks offer half that. The ETF came out of the gate with $220 million in seed capital. That's roughly half the size of the Rex Shares Solana ETF, SSK, which launched earlier this year at the CBOE exchange and has been popular, but will not be as popular as the ones from Bitwise, Fidelity, and Franklin Templeton. By the way, while Bitwise has been approved, Fidelity and Franklin Templeton are probably coming to the market very, very soon, according to filings. At this time, the Rex Osprey one became the first staking ETF approved in the USA. But remember, SSK involves an offshore structure and didn't go through the full SEC approval process, so it's never really considered to be the gold standard of the ETF products that we were looking for. And Rex Osprey is just a very small firm. So while it already offers Solana exposure and staking, it's not quite the same as Bitwise's fully regulated BSOL ETF. Considering how long SSK has been live, the fact that Bitwise's fund hit half its size on day one is indicative of where the market actually wants to go and what kind of products they're actually seeking. It shows there is serious pent-up demand from institutions who've been waiting for a compliant way to get exposure to Solana and Solana's staking yield. And with 0% fees for the first 3 months, up to $1 billion in assets, and 0.2% thereafter, Bitwise is undercutting everyone else. And even after you take the fees off, you're still getting 6.8%. Not bad. This can all mean more inflows, more adoption, and more pressure on every other issuer, of course, launching their own staking ETFs to compete on price. Now, we do have Grayscale. They might have even hit the market by the time you're seeing this video, but Grayscale is right behind Bitwise, converting its Solana Trust into an ETF under the ticker GSOL, which also has staking plugged in from day one. ETF applications for 21 shares, Van Eck, Canarity, Franklin Templeton, Fidelity, all still waiting to be approved. When they do, it is absolute game on crazy time, okay? What's even crazier is that the SEC approved this while the US government is still basically shut down. The regulators are technically on pause too, but since they basically opened up a framework for general listings without having to go through the whole application process, seems that things are moving forward even with the government shut down. It tells you everything you need to know about where we're headed next. The institutional machine, it is not slowing down. So while we have a lot of short-term noise with pain and trauma in the market, the long-term signal that we're seeing right now is undeniable, and it's only accelerating. Now, before we get into the rest of the story and what that means, guys, look, serious traders know how important execution and liquidity are. That's exactly why I've been using Femex for years. It's secure, it's fast, it's got the coins, it's got the liquidity. They're running an absolutely wild promotion right now. You got to listen to this. This is crazy money back. You put in $5,000 for your first deposit, you get $500 back. $10,000, you get $1,000 back. Deposit $20,000, they will give you back $1,600. That's crazy. Plus, you can get up to $20,000 in trading bonuses. Basically, the more you trade, the more bonuses back you get. These kind of deals do not come often, and they won't last long, okay? By the way, Femex is available to anyone, anywhere. You might need a VPN in some cases, but for most of you, you can just go click the link down below, sign up, and enjoy trading. Go on, hit the link, check it out. Thank you very much. So, now it's not just Solana that's got its ETFs approved. We're going to see an absolute flood of a variety of altcoins. More altcoins have officially joined the ETF party in a way that's impossible to ignore. We got Canary Capital's Litecoin ETF approved, so you can now get Litecoin ETFs on the stock market. And Hedera Hashgraph, or HBAR, they got their ETF approved, and both are going to hit the NASDAQ. So, Wall Street and the SEC have gone full crypto degen, and it's only going to get crazier because we have ETFs for about 20 or 30 different coins right now. This matters because it marks a fundamental shift in how altcoins are being viewed. Now look, most of them are still bullshit, most of them are garbage, but with these official products coming out, it's going to make some of these things into more serious investment plays, particularly now with their yield-bearing tradable asset features, okay? It's regulated, it's compliant. You can buy Solana, get your staking yield, not think about custody, just get exposure and move on with your life. Altcoins other than Ethereum are now accessible in brokerage accounts, and that means crypto can sit alongside dividend stocks in treasuries in institutional portfolios as well as retail portfolios in just the click of a button. We could see some real big inflows coming in here for Solana in the next weeks and months. JP Morgan estimates that we could see up to like $8 billion or so in the first year. So let's see. We also have XRP and Cardano and Avalanche and all these other ETFs coming too. The Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs have already proved to bring organic demand into the market, not just retail hype. Unfortunately, both the HBAR and Litecoin ETFs saw no inflows on day one, despite seeing $8.6 and $1.4 million in trading volume respectively. So that's not exactly a massive hit, but these things also came out with zero fanfare, rushed straight into the market without any anticipation or build up for excitement. So I'm not surprised. These are also more niche altcoins. They're going to maybe take a little longer to catch on amongst that TradFi crowd. But in the case of Solana, the combination of hype for Solana, the custody, the great staking revenue within that ETF structure, I think means an eventual supply shock here for Solana. I think the price will go much higher as we start seeing significant inflows into these ETF products. Fewer coins will be, of course, then circulating freely in the market because they're all going to be getting locked up in these ETF products, which historically can drive the price up. This is real spot demand that comes in here based on the adoption rates of the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Again, JP Morgan predicted back at the beginning of the year, actually, it's not a recent prediction, but it is worth repeating, okay, that Solana ETF could attract anywhere between $3 to $6 billion in the first year. Let's see how it goes. Day one was 60 million. Let's see how we keep moving, okay, and what kind of hype moves up. If we get a big risk-on season for crypto, then I think we can see even more than that. And that is highly impactful because it's only a $100 billion market cap coin. Sure, the day one inflows didn't match Bitcoin or Ethereum's launches, but if you adjust for market cap, it came pretty damn close. Okay, as a percentage of market cap, it did really well. Bitwise's sole ETF still pulled in around $70 million, and it still set records because it became the biggest ETF launch of the year based on trading volume out of the 850 different ETFs launched in 2025. And during these market conditions where everybody is basically ready to go buy rope, if you've been in crypto investor for a while, okay, this is a massive achievement. With Grayscale, Solana trusts the ETF conversion, not selling off like expected. Solana looks good here. Okay, analysts see a bull flag breakout targeting $412, potentially more than 100% rally from the current levels. By the way, guys, if you're not signed up with a free newsletter yet, you got to go check it out. There's a link right down below here. Got just packed full of all kinds of actionable insights on Bitcoin, crypto, stocks, prediction markets, trades of the day, airdrops, and so much more. Wild value. It's free. Check it out. Link down below. Look, I know October was meant to be Uptober, and then we got the 10-10 crash, which kind of really screwed everything up. Stocks, I'm doing great. Crypto, not so much. And while prices haven't exploded yet, these altcoin ETFs could be what flips the switch. Altcoins are officially moving into the mainstream. Institutional investors are paying attention and now have easier exposure than ever before. And we know there's a ton more spot ETF applications sitting on the SEC's desk, which will be approved in very short time. This is the kind of catalyst the market has been waiting around for, the one that could potentially turn sideways chop into full-blown momentum as literally billions of dollars starts flooding into the altcoin market specifically. Combine that with the Fed's rate cut, QT ending on December 1st, the US-China trade deal, we're in such a good macro situation right now. The prices of crypto have been challenging because everything else has been doing so damn good. It's crazy. We have a perfect storm forming here for a bullish move into the end of Q4 and potentially into Q1. If you're wondering where the market goes next, just watch the inflows, watch the staking yields, and watch where institutional money is starting to move, because that's going to be the early indicator of where price action is going to start happening. It's a massive signal. Altcoins are stepping into the spotlight finally. Now we just need Wall Street to actually start buying this shit now that they have the products for it. And whether most people realize it or not, the next leg of the bull market could already be forming, right when people are most pessimistic, right when people are giving up. And every new ETF approval lowers the barrier for millions and millions of investors and billions of institutional capital to flow into the market. It's the quiet accumulation phase before the next euphoric phase. By the time retail investors realize what's actually happening, the smart money will have already positioned itself and they'll be looking to sell on the next mania phase when all those retail people come into the exit liquidity. That's it. Thanks for watching.